Have you ever found yourself questioning whether a relationship in your life is healthy or toxic? It's a question most of us have grappled with. Before we dive into this complex issue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful guides like this one. Let's explore this predicament through the lens of Stoicism. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us the art of focusing on what we can control and disregarding what we can't. It's a philosophy that can be applied not just to our life, but also to our relationships. Stoicism challenges us to focus less on the toxicity, manipulation, or criticism we may face, and instead directs us to our reactions to these circumstances. So, what is it that we can control in a relationship? The answer lies our emotional responses, our mental resilience, and our physical boundaries. If a relationship seems more like a battleground, Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus from the battle to our armor, our resilience. Stoicism admonishes us not to let manipulation shake our reality or constant criticism our self-esteem. Instead, we are pushed to strengthen our emotional resilience and guard our mental peace. Stoicism steers us away from the idea of control over others, and instead advises us to regulate our emotional responses. It's not the dismissive actions of others that we can command, but our reactions to such dismissiveness. Even when our feelings and needs seem brushed aside or completely ignored, Stoicism encourages us to show respect towards ourselves by upholding our personal boundaries. Stoicism teaches us these principles apply to all types of relationships, friendships, family relationships, and even professional ones. It's a philosophy that aids us in feeling empowered rather than drained, respected rather than disrespected, and hopeful rather than disheartened. The first step towards this enlightenment is recognizing that we own the power to control our reactions and emotions. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly we can see things clearly because we're on what truly matters, our actions and responses. So don't ignore the red flags, but instead pay attention to your reactions to them. Understanding and exerting control over our emotions and reactions is the ultimate path towards liberation from any seemingly toxic relationship. Now that we've touched upon the concept of Stoicism, how does it assist us in identifying signs of emotional distress? Indeed, harnessing the wisdom of Stoicism to recognize these signs can be a complex task. It requires a deep level of understanding and self-reflection. The signs may not be immediately apparent, but rather they may gradually emerge. But fear not, for Stoicism is here to guide us. One of the most common signs of emotional distress is feeling emotionally drained. Stoicism teaches us to be aware of our emotional state. If you constantly feel exhausted or depleted after a certain situation or interaction, Stoicism suggests that this is a sign to step back and reassess. This exhaustion isn't just about physical tiredness, it's a profound emotional fatigue, a sense that your tranquility and energy are being compromised. Another sign to look out for is a persistent feeling of anxiety or unease. Stoicism encourages us to maintain an equanimity under all circumstances. If you find yourself constantly worrying about future events or fearing the consequences of your actions, this could be a sign of emotional distress. Stoicism teaches us the art of self-reflection and the practice of mindfulness. Trusting your intuition is an essential part of Stoic philosophy. If something feels off, Stoicism teaches us to trust our judgment and reassess our emotional state. If you're feeling uncomfortable or unhappy more often than not, take note of that. It's your inner Stoic reminding you that something needs to change. Stoicism also emphasizes that emotional distress isn't limited to one aspect of life. It could manifest in any area, be it personal or professional. So, let's practice mindfulness and self-reflection. Are there situations in your life that leave you feeling drained, anxious, or on edge? Do you find yourself constantly worrying or fearing the outcome of certain events? Trust your judgment. Your intuition is your most powerful ally in recognizing emotional distress. Remember, as a Stoic, you have the wisdom to take a step back, reflect on your feelings, and tackle emotional distress head-on. So you've recognized the need for Stoicism, but what's next on this path? It's time to establish some boundaries. Implementing boundaries is an indispensable aspect of Stoicism, similar to tracing a line in the sand. This line represents, this is what I am at peace with, and this is what I am not. Establishing boundaries in Stoicism is not about manipulating others' behaviors. but about gaining clarity on what you are willing and not willing to accept for your own mental tranquility. Now, you might be pondering, how does one establish these boundaries from a Stoic perspective? The first step is to pinpoint your boundaries. Are there certain actions, topics of conversation, or treatment that disrupt your peace? These are all potential boundaries. Once you've pinpointed your boundaries, the next step is to express them. This might appear challenging, but it's crucial. Effective communication is about being transparent, direct, and assertive. You might state something like, "I feel disturbed when you act in this manner, and I would appreciate it if you didn't." Remember, it's essential to express your feelings without assaulting the other person's character or in mind. Implementing boundaries isn't a single event, but a recurring process in the path of Stoicism. You might have to assert your boundaries intermittently, especially if others are accustomed to treating you in a specific way. And that's okay. It's part of the journey. Finally, setting boundaries might cause some friction or disagreement, and that's acceptable too. Not everyone will comprehend or respect your boundaries, and that's not your responsibility. It's their journey. In fact, if someone continually disrespects your boundaries, that's a warning signal, an indication that the relationship might be hampering your peace. In essence, setting boundaries is a form of self-respect that Stoicism encourages. It's about acknowledging your worth and taking a stand for your mental peace. It's about affirming, "I matter, my sentiments matter, my peace matters." And isn't that the ultimate goal? Isn't that what we all strive for? To be treated with respect, to be valued for who we are, and to maintain our mental tranquility. Remember, setting boundaries is a form of self-care, a lesson we learn from Stoicism. Stoicism, an age-old philosophy, teaches us the importance of boundaries, but sometimes it's crucial to understand that it may not be enough. Stoicism helps us understand the idea of distancing and detaching, particularly when relationships or connections are causing more than good. Stoicism encourages us to acknowledge that distancing ourselves from a toxic individual might be gradual. It's not about sparking conflict or chaos, but reducing the energy and time invested in that individual. You may decline certain invitations, opt out of specific conversations, or even modify your routines to evade unnecessary encounters. Stoicism's primary teaching is about prioritizing your self-care over maintaining a damaging relationship. It's important to understand that this may not always be straightforward. You may face opposition or emotional manipulation from the toxic person, but remember, it's about maintaining your tranquility and overall health. Stoicism assures you that seeking support from friends, family, or professionals is acceptable. Self-improvement is a journey, not a solitary endeavor. Apart from physical separation, Stoicism places immense value on emotional detachment in healing. Emotional detachment, as stated by Stoicism, doesn't imply becoming aloof or indifferent. On the contrary, it means not allowing the actions or words of a toxic person to impact your emotional equilibrium. It's about releasing yourself from the emotional control that the person might have over you. Stoicism suggests that emotional detachment can be accomplished through various practices, such as mindfulness, where you can learn to observe your emotions impartially, or therapy, where one can discover methods to manage their emotional reactions. As per Stoicism, distancing and detaching are not about punishing the other person or trying to alter them. It's about gaining control over your life, creating room for growth, and encouraging self-respect. It's about making way for healthier relationships and experiences. Stoicism asserts that you have the privilege to decide who you let into your life. You have the right to distance yourself from scenarios detrimental to your mental, emotional, or physical well-being. Embracing Stoicism might not be easy, but it's a crucial step in liberating ourselves from toxicity. Stoicism has guided you away from the toxic relationship, yet the journey is just beginning. Now, the Stoic teachings call for a focus on self-improvement and healing. After exiting a harmful relationship, Stoicism places an emphasis on the importance of your personal well-being. The process of self-healing in Stoicism starts with self-control and self-improvement. These aren't just highbrow philosophical terms, but rather essential aspects of your journey towards recovery. They're about recognizing your worth, acknowledging your needs, and taking steps towards nurturing your mental and emotional health. The initial stage in this nurturing process may be soliciting the aid of professionals. Therapists and counselors can help you navigate through the labyrinth of your emotions, assisting you to comprehend your experiences. They equip you with tools and strategies to cope, rebuild your self-esteem, and foster healthier relationships in the future, aligning with the Stoic principles of self-improvement and self-care. Following this, consider the practice of mindfulness. In the realm of Stoicism, this is the discipline of being fully present, of honing in on your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. Mindfulness assists you in developing an inner tranquility, empowering you to better cope with stress and anxiety. The simplest acts, such as mindful breathing, walking, or eating, can evolve into therapeutic exercises in self-awareness and self-compassion. Ultimately, partake in activities that inspire joy within you. This could be anything from painting to cooking, hiking to dancing. The objective is to engage in something that elicits positivity, that serves as a reminder of your passions and capabilities. These activities rejuvenate your spirit, bestowing you with a sense of purpose and positivity. Above all, remember that in the Stoic philosophy, healing is not a linear process. There will be highs and lows, good days and challenging ones. But every step you take towards healing, regardless of its size, is commendable. It's an affirmation of your resilience, your strength, and your ability to surmount adversity. In the words of Stoicism, remember, healing is a process, but every step forward is a testament to your ability to endure. Let's pause for a moment to review what we've uncovered about using the principles of Stoicism to liberate ourselves from toxic relationships. Our exploration began with understanding Stoicism and recognizing toxic traits. These are attributes that sap your energy, devalue your worth, and can even jeopardize your emotional well-being. From incessant criticism and manipulation to subtler indications such as disrespect and lack of empathy, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, and let go of what we can't, others' behavior. Next, we delved into the process of recognizing the signs of these traits. It's not always clear-cut, as toxic behaviors can be veiled by insincere kindness or love. Still, Stoicism encourages us to trust our instincts and pay heed to our emotions. We then discussed the importance of setting boundaries, a key principle in Stoic philosophy. These are your personal rules and limits, directing what behavior you will accept in a relationship. They are intricate as they encompass your feelings, your time, and your energy. But remember, Stoicism reminds us it's okay to enforce these boundaries and say no when they're crossed. We transitioned to the principle of detachment, often the most challenging part of liberating ourselves from a toxic relationship. It involves taking a step back, both emotionally and physically, severing connections if necessary. Stoicism encourages seeking support during this stage from peers, family, or mental health professionals. Lastly, we emphasize the of self-improvement. This is the process of developing your emotional health and well-being after leaving a toxic relationship. It involves self-care, self-respect, and self-compassion. It may mean pursuing your passions, spending time with those you care about, or seeking professional guidance to navigate your emotions. Stoicism teaches us that liberating ourselves from a toxic relationship is a difficult journey, but a journey that brings us closer to a healthier, happier self. Remember, you're worth the effort.